Hello and welcome back for another week and another 5 minutes with James. I hope that all is going well. I do realise that across the country we do have the cyclone going on, particularly in the upper North Island, and really our hearts and thoughts go out to you if you have been affected by that in any way, which I'm sure you have been in some way, and that we're thinking of you, and if there's anything we can do to support you, please get in contact with us. However, we want to carry on because the year will carry on and our businesses and our lives will continue to carry on. And I want to carry on our conversation regarding the annual planning for 2023. So, early on, a few weeks ago, I shared with you the importance of annual planning. We had a look at the annual plan. We also had a discussion about the financial plan to put together. Now, what I want you to do, and hopefully you've started the process of this annual plan, the defining of the 5 to 8 key priorities, the objectives and action steps that will go along with that, and building out a very clear plan that you can follow and use for the year ahead. But in today's session, I want to talk to you a bit more about engaging your team in the annual plan. So, first thing that we'd say is the most important group to get involved with your annual plan are your senior leadership team, the managers and supervisors of your business and full-time employees. That group, particularly the managers, need to be all over that annual plan as well as you are. And what we'd recommend is we recommend to everyone we work with in a coaching or advisory capacity is to make sure that you've organised some time in an off-site meeting where you can sit down and discuss the annual plan with your senior leadership team. Now, if this is the first time you've done it, senior leadership team's fine. If you've done it before, you may like to get all of the team on board because they have been exposed to the annual plan in some way. But if this is the first time you're doing it, I just want to focus on you for a minute. So the process is getting the team together, going off site somewhere for 2 or 3 hours, and really looking together at what those key objectives and action steps that you need to take once you, the leader of the business, has defined the 5 to 8 key priorities. So it's about engaging the senior leadership team in those processes and in those areas of objectives and action steps. So remembering, going back to the annual plan with the key priorities are the broad and scope language, big areas of the business we're going to focus on. The objectives are breaking that down into bigger goals that you want to achieve. And then underneath that, we've got our action steps, which is the 40, 50, maybe 6 or 7 action steps per objective or goal that needs to happen in the business. And most of the action steps are done by multiple people within the business. So often owners, when they hear about this process, feel overwhelmed because when they hear about the 50 or 60 action steps that will come from this process, their first mindset is, that's all going to be my responsibility, and I'm full as it is. And I think for a lot of people who don't understand the annual planning process, that stops them from carrying on and doing the process properly. But what we want at the end is we want this big group of action steps, both defined by the team who are going to be involved with it. And many of those action steps will actually be your manager's action steps as opposed to the owner's action steps, because we need to spread those across the senior leadership team. And because a lot of those action steps are operational, the different people in your business and management positions, whether they be in the kitchen, front of house, the bar, HR, finance, those people will be close to those action steps, and you will tend to give it them as their responsibility in that particular area. So don't be overwhelmed by all the action steps that come as a result. It's just about being smart about how you delegate those. And then what happens is that becomes a really great foundation of your manager's goals for themselves, is the completion of the action steps that have come from the original annual planning process. So get together somewhere, get off site, get together for a few hours, share your key priorities, and then as a team work together on the building of the objectives and action steps. And at the end of that session, come up with a draft, give it a couple of weeks for everyone to look through, and then finalize in its final document as the annual plan. So hopefully those different comments today in 5 minutes will help you as you think about engaging your team, particularly your managers, in the annual planning process for 2023. See you soon.